And recording is now in progress. All right, so we had an update last week, but some more things transpired after that webinar. So we wanted to just review some of the things we discussed last week and talk about a new development. So I'm going to give you a quick agenda, and then we are going to get into the key updates. So there's a welcome. We'll have 5 key repayment updates that we're going to review. Then I've got a few reminders, some to-dos and some not to-dos. And then we'll open it up for Q&A. We designed this webinar to just be a half hour altogether. So I'm going to aim to keep my content to 15 minutes or less so that we can reserve time for you to come off mute if you're comfortable and ask your questions. Now, before I get into the content, I do have to issue a disclaimer, and that is to say that the information shared during this evening's webinar should not be construed as personalized financial or legal advice. We do the best that we can to give you up-to-date and accurate information based on what's happening with federal student loans, but every person's situation is different. And before you make any major decisions about your student loan portfolio, you should definitely review your loans. You can book a one-on-one session with one of our student loan strategy coaches to review the loans with you and also give you some strategic insights. But please, this is not a situation where you should listen to a webinar or anyone else talking briefly and then go out and make a decision based on that information. So the first update, and this is very new, is an interest rate cut that was announced a few days ago. And this quote here comes straight from the National Association of Student Financial Aid Administrators. What's happening is that borrowers who enroll in AutoPay by September 30th of this year, or borrowers who are already enrolled in AutoPay, will receive a 1% interest rate reduction benefit through June 30th of 2028. So in a nutshell, there's an interest rate reduction that's being offered as an incentive, and that rate reduction is going to be effective for almost the next 2 years. So we've had a lot of questions. People want to know, should I do this? And it really depends on the type of loans you have and the status. So it's for direct loans, and if you're already enrolled in AutoPay, then there's nothing that you need to do. You would automatically be entitled to this interest rate reduction. If you're not enrolled in AutoPay right now, but you want to enroll in AutoPay, you would visit your servicer, not studentaid.gov, because payments are not processed there. You would visit your servicer and select AutoPay. And if you have loans that are in default, this is where you would have to take an extra step to get this benefit. And the Department of Education is suggesting that people who are in default and want to access this benefit go through the process of consolidating their loans. This is not something that should be taken lightly, because if you consolidate your loans at this point, your consolidation loan would not disperse until after July 1st of 2026. And that would make you a new borrower. And that would also make you subject to a lot of the other changes that are coming on July 1st of 2006. And it could rob you of student loan benefits that you may be eligible for now. So again, all of this goes into effect July 1st of 2006. A lot of people have asked us what to do. I will tell you personally, I'm not a fan of AutoPay, because if I don't trust the party that I'm paying, I definitely don't want to give them access to my bank account to pull out money, whenever they see fit. But it does have a benefit. So a suggestion that Melanie Mason came up with, she's our Director of Programs and Administration, was that if you want to go with AutoPay, set up a separate account. If you can get another account that doesn't charge you a fee or doesn't have a minimum balance requirement, set up a dedicated account for your student loan payments so that the only thing coming out of that account will be the student loan payment. You also want to make sure that you pack some margin there, because sometimes servicers have been known to deduct more than they were supposed to. And you don't want to have yourself in a situation where they take out the payment, but they take out more than they were supposed to, and they send your account into overdraft. So perhaps you should keep 2 months worth of payments in that account, but just keep it separate so that, again, the AutoPay is not interfering with the rest of your finances. This is a very personal decision. A 1% interest rate cut is definitely a financial incentive that could save you money. But at the same time, you should be very, very careful about who you allow to have automatic withdrawal access to your money. All right, so let's move on to the next point here. And this is one that we've been talking about for quite some time, but it's still worth talking about because the changes are underway. And that is the end of SAVE. SAVE stands for the Saving on a Valuable Education Repayment Plan. That's an income-driven repayment plan that was created under the Biden administration. And that plan is now going to be eliminated. Now, we keep hearing people say, July 1st, you got to get out of SAVE, get out now. July 1st is not the deadline to get out of SAVE. So if you are still enrolled in SAVE, please do not worry. You have not missed a deadline. There's no penalty coming for you. It's just that the new income-driven repayment plan, WRAP, is supposed to debut July 1st of 2006. But SAVE is not going to be wrapped up that quickly. So what's really happening is that borrowers who are enrolled in the SAVE plan will be notified that they have 90 days to apply for a different plan, or they'll be placed into the standard repayment plan. So again, if you're still in SAVE, you have not applied for another income-driven repayment plan, you have not missed the deadline. Starting July 1st, your servicers should begin reaching out to you to say, you're enrolled in SAVE, now it's time for you to apply for another plan. And if you don't apply for another income-driven repayment plan, you will be directed into the standard repayment plan. Big note here. The standard repayment plan usually has, well, for most people, it produces the highest monthly payment. So it would really be good for you to make sure that you apply for a different plan if you don't want to be placed into the standard plan. Because if you don't make the choice for yourself, they're going to choose for you. And we don't want you to enroll in a plan that has a payment that you cannot afford to make. So what should you do? It really depends on your repayment goal. If you're pursuing forgiveness, you should consider switching plans to earn credit toward public service loan forgiveness or forgiveness by way of income-driven repayment. And also, if you're pursuing forgiveness, specifically public service loan forgiveness, you might want to think about pursuing the PSLF buyback so that you can recover the months that you had spent in the SAVE forbearance. As a reminder, the changes are slated to go into effect July 1st, but you don't have to be out of SAVE by July 1st. You still have time. Your service will reach out and they'll give you specific instructions about what to do next and how long you have to do it. All right, let's move on to update number 3. And that is new repayment plans that are going to become available on July 1st. What's happening is SAVE is going away, income contingent repayment is going away, and pay as you earn is going away as well. IBR, that's income-based repayment, is the only old income-driven repayment plan that will remain. The new plans that are coming about are called the tiered standard plan and the repayment assistance plan. The repayment assistance plan is the new income-driven repayment plan. It will be the only one for new borrowers. So with SAVE, ICR, and Pay going away and WRAP coming about, what should you do? Well, what you should do depends on whether you are a new or a legacy borrower. If you are a new borrower, that means that you're going to borrow a loan on or after July 1st of 2026. And if you borrow a new loan, when that loan goes into repayment, you will not have a choice about income-driven repayment plans. If you're borrowing a loan for yourself, WRAP will be the only income-driven repayment option available to you. So again, if you borrow on or after July 1st of this year, your options will be the new tiered standard plan or the repayment assistance plan. If you are a legacy borrower, meaning that you've already borrowed and you are not going to borrow again on or after July 1st of this year, for now, you're going to keep access to the existing plans, and that includes ICR and Pay As You Earn until they officially sunset. So your course of action, again, depends on whether you are a new or a legacy borrower. These changes go into effect July 1st of 2026, but just keep in mind, SAVE, ICR, and Pay will sunset, but it's not going to be immediate. So they'll still be there after July 1st of 2026, but the plan is to wind them down no later than June 30th of 2028. So if you're enrolled in SAVE, ICR, or Pay As You Earn, you will need to switch. And if you do not switch, you will be switched into WRAP automatically. And we are always telling borrowers, make the decision for yourself, because the last thing you want to do is hand over control of that choice to another party. All right, update number 4. This is what a lot of people had questions about after our update last week. That is forgiveness. Loan forgiveness is still a thing. It's still available. It's just that it's going to look different after July 1st of this year. If you were pursuing forgiveness by way of income-driven repayment, new borrowers will have to use WRAP to do that. And the WRAP plan takes 30 years of payments to have the balance forgiven. This is a lot longer than income-driven repayment forgiveness takes right now. Right now is 20 or 25 years, depending on which income-driven repayment plan you're enrolled in. But once WRAP goes into effect, people who choose the WRAP route will have at least 5 more years to forgiveness. It takes 360 months of payments while enrolled in that plan. Now, with these IDR changes, again, forgiveness will take longer, but with PSLF, the timeline is still the same. It takes 120 months of qualifying repayment history and qualifying employment in order to have the remaining balance forgiven tax-free. So PSLF still exists. It still takes 10 years, but IDR forgiveness will still exist. It will just take a lot longer under this new income-driven repayment plan called WRAP. So what to do? It again depends on whether you are a new or a legacy borrower. If you are a new borrower, WRAP is the only IDR plan that will be made available to you. And a new borrower is someone who borrows on or after July 1st of 2026. If you are a legacy borrower, that means that you already have loans and you are not borrowing again on or after July 1st of this year. You'll keep access to IBR, pay as you earn, and ICR until those latter 2 repayment plans sunset. And with those plans, forgiveness occurs at either 20 or 25 years, depending on which plan you're enrolled in. Now, big note here for Parent Plus loan borrowers. If you are a new Parent Plus loan borrower, that means if you're borrowing on or after July 1st of this year, there is no access to loan forgiveness by way of income-driven repayment or PSLF. Unfortunately, the new rules for Parent Plus loans stipulate that parents cannot enroll in an income-driven repayment plan. And an income-driven repayment plan or the 10-year standard plan, those are the only plans that qualify for PSLF. So for new Parent Plus loan borrowers, that pathway to forgiveness has been eliminated. And that goes into effect again, July 1st of this year. Now, our 5th and final update is again for the parents, because in addition to the pathway to forgiveness closing, Parent Plus loans are now going to have limits. So for people who have not borrowed Parent Plus loans already, if you're new to borrowing and will borrow a loan to pay for your child's education starting on or after July 1st of this year, you will be facing limits. The limits are $20,000 per year per student, up to a maximum of $65,000 overall per student. So they're putting a cap on how much you can borrow overall for each student in your family, and they're also putting a cap on how much you can borrow per year per student in your family. And those caps apply to the new borrowers. For legacy borrowers, those are people who have already borrowed Parent Plus loans. You'll be able to continue to borrow as you have, but for a limited time. And the limit for you will be whatever the cost of attendance is for your child's education, minus any other aid that they've received. So again, this really affects new borrowers. You're borrowing for the first time on or after July 1st of this year. You will be subjected to these new limits on Parent Plus loans, as well as not being able to enroll in an income-driven repayment plan and not being able to pursue public service loan forgiveness. All right, so now that we've gotten through the updates, I want to give you 3 things to do, followed by 3 things not to do, and then we'll open it up for Q&A. So the 3 things to do are to verify and document, to stay connected, and to review your plans. As for verification and documentation, you want to log into studentaid.gov and also the portals for your servicer online and verify your balances, your current repayment plans, the status of those loans, whether they're in good standing or delinquent or in default, and also any payment counts that you find. Take screenshots. We've got a lot of changes coming up July 1st, but we also have seen a lot of inaccuracy with studentaid.gov. So go in Again, take screenshots, document things, because we're not sure exactly what July 1st is going to look like. I don't mean to scare you, but a lot of changes are taking place in a short period of time. And as we saw during the waiver period, sometimes records move. They disappear, they eventually come back, but it's best when you keep track of your own records just in case they do have any issues managing records during this transition the way that they had issues the last time. That second thing to do is to stay connected. Make sure that both studentaid.gov and your servicer have updated contact information for you. That's your physical address as well as your email address. And also, you want to check in with reliable sources. There are a lot of things floating around on social media, very quick snippets talking about what's going to happen July 1st. But please do not make any snap decisions based on those sound bites. You want to make sure that you check in with reliable sources. Studentaid.gov is, of course, the best place to go for information about your particular loans, as well as your servicer portals. I'm also recommending the National Consumer Law Center's Student Borrower Assistance Project, and of course, us here at the Maryland Center for Collegiate Financial Wellness. The last thing we're recommending that you do is review your plans. Use the loan simulator at studentaid.gov so that you can see what repayment looks like under different scenarios, and only switch your plan as needed after you have selected a repayment goal that matches your household and your loan portfolio. And again, studentaid.gov is where you go for the loan simulator. We haven't seen wrap payments available on that simulator yet, but one of our nonprofit partners, EdCap in New York, has a calculator that will allow you to see what wrap looks like. So you can go to EdCap online as well. For 3 things not to do: you don't want to tune out, you don't want to take cookie cutter advice, and we really advise against consolidating. As for tuning out, this is not the time to ignore communications from your lender and your servicer. You need to tune out noise, but your lender and your servicer will let you know if there are any steps you need to take and any deadlines associated with those steps. Next, I alluded to this earlier, do not take cookie cutter advice. Please don't make decisions based on sound bites. Repayment is a significant matter. It sometimes takes 25, 30 years or more. So the decisions that you make should be strategic. And again, we're recommending the Student Loan Borrower Assistance Project as well as McFew for good information and strategic advice. Now, consolidation is also on this list too. Our recommendation right now is not to consolidate, and that's because starting July 1st, new rules will go into effect for newly issued student loans. Right now, you're considered a legacy borrower if you have existing loans. If you consolidated today, it would take several weeks for that consolidation loan to be dispersed, and once it disperses after July 1st, you'll be considered a new borrower. And that means that you're subject to all of these new rules, including fewer repayment options. And if you're a parent, totally closes the door for forgiveness. So please don't tune out. Don't take cookie cutter advice. And I'm comfortable saying this for the vast majority of people: do not consolidate right at this moment. Okay. And before we open it up for Q&A, I just wanted to address a question that we get a lot, and that is, what's the difference between being delinquent and being in default? You're considered delinquent if you have missed one payment. So if you're even a day late, you're considered delinquent. But there's not a real consequence in terms of immediately reporting to credit bureaus until you're at least 90 days late. So it doesn't take but a day to be delinquent. Default is when you have missed a payment for at least 270 days. So that means that you have ignored the bills for 9 months and the loan is no longer in good standing. If you want to confirm whether your loan is in good standing, you can go to studentaid.gov, and once you log in, you'll get to the dashboard. If you have a loan that's in default, it will show up in red at the top and say you have at least one federal student loan that's in default. So go to studentaid.gov so you can see the status of your loan. All right, so that does it for the updates. At this time, we're going to get ready to go into Q&A and do that for about 10 to 12 minutes so we can wrap up close to 7 p.m. If you're an existing client and you're wondering what to do, please contact Melanie. She can send you the link for our returning clients, our existing clients, to book a follow-up session. If you are a new client or you feel as though you could use some individualized strategic advice, you can use the link. We'll make sure that we put it in the chat. to schedule a strategy session. For new clients, booking a session actually gets you 2 sessions because we take a big chunk of time to go through everything the first time. And if there are any applications you need to complete, we do that too. And then we come back together to see how things are progressing. So thank you so much for your time. And at this time, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and open it up for Q&A.